Hey guys, I wanted to pop on and talk to you a little bit about my practice, um, what I work on, why I work on it, where did it all come from. I started out with Access Consciousness, which is a it's a bunch of tools that are created to bring more awareness in consciousness to your world and to this world. Um, and with that, I started to kind of open up my awareness and started to look at other things. And I was guided or called, they say he calls upon you, this ancient skull. His name is Max, the skull. I started to get a calling to go see him and go to meditate with him. Um, so I answered the call and I went. I forget which year it was. Today's 2021. 2020. So I'm going to guess it was like probably 2017 ish that I went for the first time to meditate with Max the skull. The first time that I went, it was pretty profound. With Access Consciousness, I learned how to run energy. And we started the energy pull by putting the hand on the back of the occipital bone and put your hand on the third eye. And we start to run energy. So we start to run the energy to get it flowing through your body, to get it flowing through your system. And then we start actually doing other points on your head. So as I'm sitting there with Max, I decided I was going to meditate with him. But in doing so, I wanted to open up his energy and his energy flow. So I started to run his bars. And I actually have a video where I have my hand behind the skull and on the third eye. And I started to run his energy. As I did that, the hand on the third eye starts to get a rush of energy flow that goes through my hand and pulsations almost. It was very profound. It was very, I don't know, you could really just feel it wasn't something that was subtle. It was pretty strong, and that's where it was. It was in my right arm when I was running on his third eye. As I'm doing that, I get the energy flowing. That feeling that I felt on my arm was a pretty profound way of telling me the energy is running. So I started to connect with him. And when doing so, I ended up putting my third eye on his third eye, which I have a photo of that as well. And when I did that, things started happening. The first thing that I started to feel was right in here, almost like three fingers, and they were pulsing like this. My head was completely on him, okay? So as I'm feeling this, it's feeling like just really weird. So it was three pulses, three pulses, three pulses, and I just kept my head there and I just received. So as I'm doing this, I'm relaxed, I'm hanging out with him. I brought a ton of my own crystals and I put them all around him. And they actually recommend you do that to bring your crystals so that he can download his codes onto my crystals. And we all have coding. Crystals have coding. Our bodies have coding because within our bodies, we have crystals. We have crystals within our body. So meditating with him, crystals are there. I get a whole hour and I'm just like, oh, I walk in. The first time I walked in with him, I could see like these lines. He was like here. I'm walking in the doorway, right? And in the whole entire, like, he was lit up. It was almost like these waves that were coming down that I could see energetically. I am very sensitive to energy, which is why I work with it. When I walked into his space, you could see like this waves of energy. And so I sat, meditated with him. And when I was done, picked up my crystals. At the time, Joanne Parks, her grandson was sick. So it was that year that her grandson was sick. He was just born. He was in the hospital. He was fighting for his life. So I wasn't able to meet Joanne Parks. So it turned out that the crystal shop owner went and picked up Max and brought him to his location so that those of us that have booked sessions with him could get them. So I'm very grateful that I was able to do that because it almost got canceled. So I am hanging out with a friend and her boyfriend, and I spent the night with them, and we went to go eat, and I'm just kind of telling them about my experience, and I'm just like electrified with the experience. The thought that I was able to meet with an ancient skull that is just millions and millions of years old. He originally came from Honduras, and he was part of a healer's tool. So this skull was given to a healer in Honduras, I think, and he used to use him for healing. So he would put him in his healing room, like, this is my healing room. He would be placed here, and he would help heal his clients. And so from there, he was given to, oh my gosh, I forget what it's called, but he was given to another gentleman that was in Houston. And Joanne Parks actually, her husband was doing construction work on this gentleman's, he was a healer, and there's a name for it, not shaman, I forget what it's called, but he was also using Max for healing. So her son was sick and asked her husband to ask him, hey, can you work on my son? Long story short, he did. Son lived. Everything got better. He had cancer. He survived. Everything was great. I don't know what the final thing happened with that, but that's kind of the backstory. So Joanne Parks, I wasn't able to meet her the first time. So anyways, I'm with my friends. We're having dinner. We go to their home. We're chit-chatting, me and my friend, Betty, and I go to bed. And as soon as I get into my bed, I'm wide awake. I get into bed, and I see in front of me this, everything just went dark. It was like dark matter. And then at the very top of this darkness, I'm wide awake. And I see everything coming together, and everything above was sacred geometry, and everything underneath it. So it came out like this, and it came in and it created the human body. And it showed me how sacred geometry creates, what sacred geometry, which are the platonic solids, the circle, the square, the tetrahedron, the dodecahedron, the isohedron, they all come together and create matter, because energy is vibrations and frequencies. Okay, the only thing that creates matter are the platonic solids that get put together that create matter that we can touch and feel. He showed me how sacred geometry is used to create matter. And that was very profound. And from that moment on, I am super connected to sacred geometry. I actually should have my Metatron pendulum on. I actually have it, Metatron's cube, on my floor. Okay, so I'm kind of wanting to explain to you a little bit how profound and how Max has become my guide. Okay, he has become my guide. So the year after that, I did it again, and I went and meditated with him. I got the call again, so there I go. So I go. After that, we went to Arkansas. We did the digging. Brought a bunch of crystals. Started to do this is when I was in Arkansas. We're coming back, and I get a download, and I know it's from Max. And Max is telling me I need to open up a store. I need to use a Metatron's cube for healing. Put the Metatron's cube underneath the healing table, because Metatron's cube is the creation of everything that is and everything that will ever be. So if we're healing, it makes complete total sense. Almost like boom, it was like this wow moment, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like brilliant. And it didn't come from me, it came from Max. Put the Metatron's cube below, the healing table up above. So what if the Metatron's cube can create anything that ever is and ever will be, then ow, how fascinating would it be to put that under the healing table? Because you're here to create something different. You're here to heal and change and shift something, right? So what better way to do that than above a Metatron's cube? So that's a little backstory what's going on here. And I was told to create this crystal store, do my healing in it, and also it's a crystal room. It's just this magical room. You just got to come in here, feel it, and understand what I'm talking about. This is a magical room. A lot of the crystals that I do have been downloaded and coded by Max. Now, I got another download that I was to get 13 crystal skulls, or 13 skulls, put them together, create a circle, put a big one in the middle, connect them energetically. And what I got download, I'm going to say it's from Max, I'm not saying this is from me, is that I'm going to ask each skull to take on the energy of the actual skull that exists in this world that is supposed to be used for this purpose. So right now there are 13 skulls. In reality, they have only discovered 9 that have been confirmed as ancient skulls that are going to be part of this 13 skulls. Okay. All of this I'm telling you for a reason, because I'm going to start with another story after this one that includes the Moody Garden Pyramids and how it ties it all in. This ties in the Max the skull that what happened was one day I'm also a wildlife rescue person, and I was rescuing some animals, and I had to take them to the Humane Society. They're not animals, they're actually birds. They're like the pelicans, the big birds, and they're wildlife. And so I took some in to the Humane Society. For those that know, in Galveston, the Humane Society is right across the street from Highway 45, and the Moody Garden Pyramids are right like over here. So I'm literally driving and I'm facing them, and I just look at them almost like I had seen them for the first time, and I just had this wow moment, like, holy crap, we have pyramids in Galveston. That's like a big freaking deal, because just the shape of the pyramid in itself is a deal. It's a big deal. It creates energy, and it creates so much. Okay, so all these pyramids that are all over the world, they all exist in the latitude of 30 degrees, or a little bit like 28, 29, 30 degrees. So you have your world. And yes, I believe it's a sphere. I don't believe it's flat. That's my opinion, and we can have different opinions. So whatever, right? So here's your circle, and I lost the latitude. There's a 30-degree latitude that goes all the way around the world, okay? And that's where mostly all the pyramids are created. Now, it's been discovered through this other group that they're called the Earth Keepers, and they discovered, I don't know how they discovered this, but I'm going to go into this in another video. I'm kind of telling you the backstory for something that I've been dying to get out, and it involves Moody Garden Pyramids. It involves the Moody's. So I digress. Let's go back. So a lot of my knowledge, a lot of my wisdom is coming in through Max, and Max is guiding me to do things. And so ever since the Travis Scott concert, ever since the Travis Scott concert, I felt like something got activated. Okay. And what I mean by that is that the dark forces are amping up their tactics. Okay. They are amping up. You can't even go to a concert nowadays, because now you're going to get your chakras, or your energy field is going to be affected because of the frequencies that they're playing in these songs and these music. Okay. And there's many people at the Travis Scott concert that said that there was this music playing right before Travis started. It was frequencies, and it made a lot of them pass out. It made a lot of them sick, and it was disturbing to their ears. It was not a good thing. And Those are the low frequencies that they put in music to make you rage, to make you angry, to make you whatever. So that told me, it almost like, whoa, holy cow, like what's going on? And I think this was my cosmic trigger that opened me up and said, okay, we're ready, and you need to do what Max asked you to do, which was to get the 13 skulls together, activate them. And the purpose for all of this is to release unconditional love into this world. So I've got my 13s together. I have not activated them. And I have them in here right now. Okay. This one I bought from Max's handler, and it is Amber. And this was from him. So this is definitely coded by Max. And I have all of them. I'm going to put the phone down for a little bit. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to take these out. And I literally just grabbed, let me turn this. Okay, how profound. Look at this. I'm going to put this on the Metatron's cube. So this just reminded me and told me that I'm going to put this onto this. I'm going to activate each one of these with a crystal that I have. That I'm going to ask the crystals which one. I actually just got told that I need to use the selenite. So I'm going to use the selenite, and I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to put it on here. So I'm going to put the phone down again. There. Boom. And I'm going to activate them. And I have another friend, and she told me that she just found out that other folks that are meditating with Max are getting the same message. That we all need to grab 13 skulls. There's 12 on the perimeter, the 13 in the middle. I'm going to connect each one to the middle. I'm going to ask them to take the energy of the actual skulls that exist in this world, and we're going to go ahead and infuse it. And I'm doing this for all of humanity. I'm doing this for our children, our kids, everything that's going on in this world right now. It is getting real. You guys know it. We all know this. So that's the backstory of what I'm going to be telling you guys in another video. And maybe right after this one. I just felt like it needed to be in 2 videos because it's going to be probably pretty long. So just a little bit about me, how I work, why I work the way that I do. I use crystals. My guides are my spirit guides, my angels, my archangels, but I also work really closely with Max. Even though I haven't meditated with him in the last probably 2 years since COVID, there's still a connection there. There's a connection with all of us that have meditated with Max. And we are all being told this. So there's a reason that we're needing to anchor down the energy in this crystal grid. So with that being said, in the next video, we're going to be talking about Max again. We're going to be talking about how Max is connected to the Moody Garden Pyramids, how the Moody Garden Pyramids are connected to the Giza Pyramids, and what they're being used for, what is at the Moody Garden Pyramids, and how they're protected. Because they were even protected when Ike hit. They were untouched, completely untouched, energetically protected. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for watching. Please watch my next video. This one I will probably, I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. But the next video is going to be, I'm going to say part 2 maybe, of the talk about Max or something. I'm going to kind of connect these two so that way you can watch both and understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. And tomorrow when I show you the other stuff, you're gonna know, like, holy shit, like, we've got something special going on here in Galveston and here in Crystal Beach, I believe, because we're at the same latitude as most pyramids, and we actually have pyramids here that are of that same latitude. And just real quick before I get off, because it's pretty awesome, they found 3 triaxial pyramids, just like the ones that we have in Giza, 5 miles off of the coast in Galveston. And you're not going to see this on anywhere. You're not going to see this on TV. You're not going to see this on the news. I am actually repeating information. This isn't something I discovered. The Earth Keepers group, James Tiburon, all those guys did all this back in 2012. I'm just repeating it because I feel connected to it. I feel like it means something. I'm being guided through it. So I want to share that with you so you can get a better understanding of who I am, where I'm coming from, and why I do the things that I do. Peace, love, joy, and gratitude to all of you. And please watch the next video because it's going to be pretty awesome.